Welcome to the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Today, we're tackling Management 3.0.
Sounds fun.
You sent us a ton of stuff, articles, websites, even case studies.
Yeah, looks like someone's doing their homework.
So you really want to dig deep into this Management 3.0 thing, not just skim the surface.
Right. We want to get past the buzzwords and see what it's really about.
Exactly. And one thing that keeps popping up in all this material is this idea of managing the system, not the people.
Yeah, that's a core concept.
But what does that actually mean in practice?
Well, it's a shift in focus. It means thinking less about controlling individuals and more about creating the right environment for everyone to thrive.
Okay, so instead of micromanaging tasks, you're focusing on the bigger picture.
Exactly. Think of it like a gardener tending a garden. They don't force the plants to grow. They provide the right conditions: sunlight, water, fertile soil.
Interesting analogy.
Yeah.
So you're saying a manager should be more like a gardener, creating the right environment for their team to flourish.
Exactly. It's about setting the stage for success, providing resources, removing obstacles.
But isn't there a risk of being too hands-on? I mean, some people might feel stifled if they feel like they're constantly being tended to.
That's a great point, and it highlights the importance of balance. The goal isn't to hover or micromanage. It's about creating a framework that supports growth and autonomy.
So it's more about guidance than control.
Right. It's about setting clear goals, providing the right tools, and then stepping back to let people do their thing.
Okay, I'm starting to get a better sense of what this Management 3.0 thing is all about. But why is there so much buzz around it right now? What's making it resonate with so many people?
Well, I think one reason is that traditional management styles often focus on control and efficiency, which can leave people feeling like cogs in a machine, just a means to an end.
Yeah, I can see that.
Management 3.0, on the other hand, recognizes that people are complex beings with unique motivations and needs.
So it's about creating a more human-centric workplace.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that happy, engaged employees are more productive and innovative.
That makes sense. Yeah. And it seems like there's growing evidence to support that idea. One study you sent mentioned a company that saw a 78% increase in customer satisfaction after implementing Management 3.0 practices.
Exactly. It's not just some fluffy feel-good theory. It actually leads to tangible results.
Wow, that's impressive. But how did they achieve that? What specific actions did they take?
Well, that's where the practical tools and practices of Management 3.0 come in. And that's what we'll delve into next.
Okay, because I'm seeing all sorts of interesting terms in these articles. Kudo cards, delegation, poker moving motivator.
Yeah, there's a whole toolbox of techniques.
I'm really curious to learn more about those.
Me too. Let's open up that toolbox and see what gems we can uncover.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's open that Management 3.0 toolbox. And one tool that comes up a lot in your research is Kudo cards.
Yeah, I was intrigued by those too. They seem like such a simple concept. Just write a little thank you note to a colleague.
Right, but don't underestimate the power of simplicity.
I guess so. But is that really all it takes? Just a quick note to make a difference?
Well, think about it. When was the last time you got a genuine handwritten thank you note? It's been a while.
Yeah. It feels pretty good, right?
It does.
Kudo cards tap into that basic human need for recognition and appreciation.
So it's not just about saying good job. It's about acknowledging the person behind the work.
Exactly. It's about showing that you see them, you value their contributions.
Okay, I can see that. But what about those who are motivated by more tangible rewards, like money or bonuses?
Management 3.0 has a tool for that too. Merit money.
Merit money. That sounds interesting. Tell me more.
Basically, it's like an internal currency system. Teams can award each other merit money for going above and beyond or demonstrating certain values. And then they can use that merit money to buy rewards or perks.
So it's like a point system.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But it's designed to be collaborative, not competitive.
How so? Wouldn't that just encourage people to focus on earning points instead of working together?
It's all about how you set it up. The key is to reward contributions that benefit the whole team, not just individual achievements. Oh, so it's about aligning individual motivations with team goals.
Exactly. And it can be a fun way to boost morale and engagement.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this works. But doesn't it get complicated? Like, who decides what gets rewarded and how much everything is worth?
Teams decide that together. It's a transparent system where everyone has a voice.
So it gives employees a sense of ownership and control over their rewards.
Exactly. And it takes some of the pressure off managers to constantly be doling out praise and bonuses.
This is really fascinating. It's a great example of how Management 3.0 combines practical tools with a deeper understanding of human psychology.
Right. It's not just about telling people what to do. It's about creating a system where they're motivated to do their best work.
And speaking of motivation, you mentioned another tool earlier, moving motivators.
Ah, yes. That one's all about understanding what truly drives people.
This sounds a little more touchy-feely. How does it work exactly?
It's based on the idea that we all have 10 intrinsic desires that drive our actions. Things like curiosity, freedom, mastery, purpose.
Okay, so it's like a personality test.
Not quite. It's more about ranking those motivators in order of importance to you. And then you can compare your motivators with your team members to see where there are alignments and differences.
Interesting. So how does that translate into better teamwork?
Well, it helps you understand what makes each person tick. So you can tailor your approach to leadership communication, even task assignments.
Oh, I see. So if someone is really motivated by mastery, you might give them more challenging projects.
Exactly. And if someone is driven by relatedness, they might thrive in a more collaborative role.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about aligning tasks and roles with people's natural inclinations.
Right. And it can be incredibly helpful for resolving conflicts, improving communication, and building stronger relationships within teams.
So we've talked about recognizing and rewarding contributions, understanding motivations.
Mhm.
What about decision making? Does Management 3.0 have any tools for that?
It does. One of the most popular tools is delegation poker.
Ah, yes. We touched on that earlier. Tell me more.
It's literally a card game.
Ah.
Each card represents a different level of decision-making authority.
Okay, so how does that work in practice?
Let's say a team is deciding on a new marketing campaign. Each member chooses a card that reflects their desired level of authority for that decision.
Interesting. And if everyone chooses the same card?
Great. But if there are discrepancies, it opens up a conversation.
So instead of the manager dictating who does what, the team gets to negotiate and come to a shared understanding.
Exactly. It's about transparency and empowerment.
I like it. It sounds like a great way to prevent those situations where no one knows who's in charge.
Exactly. It brings clarity to decision-making processes.
Okay, so we've covered appreciation, motivation, decision-making, but what about those bigger challenges that companies face? Can Management 3.0 principles be applied at a larger scale?
Absolutely. In fact, you included a really interesting case study about AmBevTech.
AmBevTech, wait, the beer company.
Yes, one of the technological hubs of Anheuser-Busch InBev. They were struggling with employee engagement and alignment.
Huh, interesting. So what do they do?
They brought in a Management 3.0 facilitator, and within a year, they became one of the best IT companies to work for in Brazil.
Wow, that's quite a turnaround. But what did they actually change?
They incorporated a variety of practices: kudo cards, merit money delegation poker. They also introduced something called personal maps.
Personal maps, what are those?
They're visual representations of a person's interests, skills, values, and goals.
Oh, so it's a way for team members to get to know each other better.
Exactly. It helps them understanding each other's strengths, weaknesses, motivations.
And that leads to better collaboration and communication.
Precisely. It strengthens the bonds within the team.
Okay, so it works for big companies, but what about smaller ones?
You had another case study about a company called Keepler, right?
Yeah, Keepla is an IT company that specializes in the education sector.
Right. They were looking to create a flatter, more self-empowered organizational structure.
Interesting, because the traditional hierarchy wasn't working for them.
Exactly. And they found that Management 3.0 helped them achieve that.
How so?
They implemented practices like kudo cards delegation, poker moving motivators, and they saw a big increase in motivation, engagement, and ownership.
So it sounds like Management 3.0 is pretty adaptable.
It is. That's one of its strengths. It's a framework that can be tailored to fit the needs of any organization.
So we've seen how these principles can be applied in a variety of settings. But what about the bottom line? Does it actually improve performance?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer is a resounding yes.
Okay, but how?
Yeah.
How does that improvement happen? I mean, it's not just because people are getting kudo cards, right?
No.
Yeah.
It's about a fundamental shift in mindset. When employees feel valued and empowered, they're more likely to go the extra mile.
So it's about tapping into that intrinsic motivation and channeling it towards business goals.
Exactly. It's a win-win for both individuals and the organization.
Right. And that 78% customer satisfaction increase we talked about.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of how happy employees translate into happy customers.
Absolutely. And I'm sure it's reflected in other metrics too, like revenue growth and employee retention.
I bet. So we've covered the why and the what of Management 3.0, but what about the how? Where do you even begin if you want to implement these ideas in your own workplace?
Well, one popular option is to attend a Management 3.0 workshop.
Ah, so it's not just about reading a book or watching a video. You need that hands-on experience.
It definitely helps.
Yeah.
The workshops are led by certified facilitators who can guide you through the principles and practices.
So it's a chance to learn from experts and connect with other leaders who are on the same journey.
Exactly. And you can experiment with different tools and techniques in a safe environment.
Okay. What about those who can't attend a workshop right away? Are there other resources available?
Of course, the Management 3.0 website is a great place to start. They have tons of information articles, videos, case studies, even a free toolkit.
Awesome.
Huh?
And are there online communities or forums where you can connect with other practitioners?
Definitely. There's a whole community of people who are passionate about Management 3.0. You can ask questions, share experiences, get support.
That's great to hear. But starting anything new can feel daunting. Where do you even begin?
Start small. Pick one or two practices that resonate with you and your team and experiment.
So don't try to do everything at once.
No, it's a journey, not a destination.
That makes sense. But what if you make mistakes along the way?
That's part of the process. Management 3.0 is all about continuous improvement. It's about trying things out, learning from your mistakes, and adapting as you go.
So it's a very iterative approach.
It is, and feedback is crucial.
Feedback.
Yes, regular, open, and honest feedback. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels safe to share their thoughts and ideas.
So it's not just about managers giving feedback to their teams. It's about feedback flowing in all directions.
Exactly, and that builds trust and collaboration.
It sounds like Management 3.0 is really challenging those traditional top-down management structures.
It is. It's about moving towards a more human-centric and collaborative approach.
And that shift is long overdue, in my opinion.
I agree. And it's not just about making work better. It's about making the world better.
That's a powerful thought. And one book you sent really dives into that idea, Managing for Happiness.
Yes. That's a great one.
What's it about?
It explores the idea that happiness is essential for individual and organizational success. It's about creating a workplace where happiness is a natural outcome.
So it's not about forcing happiness on people. It's about creating the conditions for it to flourish.
Exactly. When people are happy, they're more engaged, productive, and innovative.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's about aligning individual well-being with organizational goals.
Right. And it's a much more sustainable approach in the long run.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored the principles, the practices, and the real-world examples of Management 3.0. But this is just the beginning of your journey.
Keep exploring, keep experimenting, keep learning, and most importantly, keep connecting with others who are passionate about creating a better world of work.
That's great advice. And remember, Management 3.0 is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a framework that you can adapt and customize to fit your own unique needs.
And as you continue your exploration, ask yourself, how can you create a workplace that honors both the humanity and the productivity of your team?
That's a great question to ponder. And with that, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Management 3.0. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Happy managing.
See you next time on the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Until next time.
See you then.